And we had an 87-year-old gentleman in there. And he was picked up for a DUI, and what happened is he was backing out of his garage and hit the side of the garage, and the neighbors called it in. And he and his wife were drinking a fifth of vodka every day. And so he was charged with drunk driving, and we found out he was a retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major who'd fought on Guadalcanal and Tarawa. And there were 5 other Marines in the courtroom. There was about 20 veterans in the courtroom. 5 of them were Marines. And as soon as we told the judge who this guy was, they stood up and started applauding. And then the other service guys, and I tell you, the Marines do the best job of all services of training, teaching their young recruits the history, the customs, traditions of their service. And they stood up and applauded, and then the other veterans kind of, what's going on? And then they realized who this guy was, and they all stood up. And we had to explain to the judge that, this guy, for these Marines, he was a rock star. To have served in Guadalcanal and survived, and then finished out, and he probably served in Korea and probably Vietnam too, if he served that long in the Marine Corps. But these are some of the kinds of folks that come through, and the camaraderie that you see when these men and women are coming through the Veterans Court. And we don't complete their cases or conclude their cases or whatever. We graduate them, and Judge Romley will talk about that in a few moments. But so it's a culmination. Now, not everybody walks out of court, with dismissed charges. What I tell them when they come into court is that, look, nobody's going to dismiss cases just because you're a veteran. Nobody's going to reduce charges just because you're a veteran. What we do is we create an environment where you can earn a more favorable disposition in your case. But you got to earn it. And it's hard work. Now, I haven't had anybody in my court for 3 years, but I've had them in my court for about 2 years. The average stay in my court's about 6 months. Some are there a little longer, some a little shorter. But many of them self-eliminate because, again, it's a voluntary program. Maybe it's too hard, they don't want to do it. Maybe they're not ready to engage in treatment. But I always tell them that they're welcome back. If they want to engage in treatment and tell the judge, whoever court I refer to, if they engage in treatment and they ask to come back, I'll take them back. But then they know what the deal is. They know that they're going to have to do the treatment, they're going to have to do what we require them to do. And like Judge Clalley said, our recidivism rate, we don't keep track of these guys afterwards. We graduated a veteran yesterday, and he looked at me and said, "I hope I never see you again." And I said, "I hope I never see you again either." And I said, "But I don't take that personally, because if I don't see you again, something worked. You're not back in our system." And these are the kinds of successes that you see at the end of the day. These guys get their lives back. They're competitive in the community again. And most of them, they understand it's hard work, and they know that they're expected to do it. And there's no shame in dropping out. If they want to go back to regular court, that's fine. But we'll take them back in most cases if they choose to come back. But they also know what the deal is. Just one final word, and I'll hand the mic over to Judge Romley, is if anybody asks about Veterans Court and they think it's a free pass for veterans, it's anything but that. For most of these guys, paying the fine and going to jail for a couple days is the easy way. But when I make them go through, a 6-month substance abuse treatment, they got to go through 6 months worth of domestic violence treatment and counseling, and then if we have anything else on top of that, then it adds up. It's a lot, and these guys have jobs, they got schools, they got families, so this is all stuff that they have to do on top of it, and it takes a real commitment to get through this process. And so, we're very fortunate that we've had some forward-thinking presiding judges, city councils, mayors. Mayor Nexum is sort of my hero because he's kind of leading the charge amongst the mayors out there. But to see that the benefit, when all you have is jail and fines, you're going to be falling at the bottom of the cliff, as Judge Kalali talked about. But when you introduce these treatment programs where it's aimed at getting these guys, for lack of a better term, fixed, and back where they can be competitive, it's real rewarding at the end of the day to see what's going on, what these guys are doing for themselves. Again, we don't do it for them; they got to do it for themselves. We just provide that environment for them. Well, I'll conclude my comments and pass the mic over to Judge Romley.